Fear of what other people think about you. One of the most common fears in our human existence, right? In our generation, it is becoming more and more of a difficulty because now we have social media, now we have all these social groups, everybody is expecting something from you, and especially the news, media, and social media is kind of forming us. And even social constructs, like how you grown up, where have you gone to school, what social groups, religious groups have you been part of. All of this is programming you from especially child on. And today we're going to talk about this. Also, I will bring in a lot of my own experience and how I overcome. That is the most important thing. How do we overcome the fear of what other people think? Because look how I think of it. Whenever you are doing or not doing something for the thought or expectation of other people, then you're giving the whole control of your life to somebody else, and mostly you're giving it to people who are not even deserving it, right? You don't even like them, but still somehow it prevents you to do things or doesn't do things, right? So that's really what we're going to tackle on today, because every single one of us, I think, deals with it at some stage. Some people are still in there who are still fearing what other people think, even though they say, I don't give a fuck. But truly, are you acting like this? It's probably most of the people don't admit it, but most of the people are actually having to deal with it. And if they're not dealing with it, then it would be shown in their actions. So before the fear, I would say, before I think we're all getting programmed into that fear. So we have a stage where we have no fear. And that's usually when you're being born to almost when you going into school. So let's say 0 to 7 years old. As a young kid, for example, for myself, I didn't care what anyone thought. Always smiling, I was always happy, I was full of energy. Remember that. I was full of energy, I was always like that smile face. And I wanted to share it with people. I wanted to make other people also smile. And that kid existed. That kid was fully there, it was fully present, it was fully expressing himself as he was. And before anybody could tell him who he is and who he's not, he's just doing it. It's natural. And then school starts, right? Teachers telling you off, maybe kids making fun of you, who you are, and slowly that blissful kid starts to disappear, right? And I was somebody who was so full of energy, I couldn't sit still. They say, oh, he has ADHD or whatever it is, he has some uh, behavior problem. And I couldn't behave in that environment. But it doesn't mean that I'm a less worthy kid. In that environment they put me in, what they choose, what they think is good for me, they thought he would be a bad kid. If you put me maybe in other environments where I could be free, I could be play, I could be do action and show I'm valuable, let's say it's sports, then I could be very valuable. And if I only learn this in that environment, oh, then I would be thinking I would be a such fulfilled kid. And school, it wasn't, right? And then you slowly lose that. And by the time I was 14, now we jump another 7 years on top of that, I was completely a different person. I was introverted, I was scared, I was rejected enough time that I went completely quiet. I didn't go to school for like 6 months. I was just wanting to be with myself. I become a gamer. I was playing 15, 16 hours a day, and I wanted just to escape that reality because I found myself in that games very useful and good. And I was really scared of expressing myself, who I was, and that's the most troublesome, I would say, thing to a growing up teenager or child, because why do we stop expressing ourselves for who we truly are? That is the biggest L in new language that we could take, because of other people, because of teachers who are not now anywhere around me, but they are having the power of forming me, the government with their school program, or other people I never enjoyed talking to. We're letting them affect us so much that we become a completely different person, and that leads us in a completely different direction where, yeah, you could go depressed, you could go, because all of this social pressure is like not letting you live the life you want. And what is then happening? People getting depressed, or the depressive state, and they want to go into substances like drugs. And that's, I think, mostly what it comes down to. There's of course other things also related to it, but that could be one way. And yeah, I just stopped expressing myself, because every time I did, the feedback was negative. And so I become a people pleaser, a person that would do everything to be a part of the group. I wanted to really force friendships. I just wanted to belong, basically. And I completely compromised in that way who I actually was, and that for years. And at some point, I was in like young adulthood, right? When I became 18 to 21, I was like, I don't feel like being a part of all of these people. I attracted myself to myself, and it's just it's I really, you know, was thinking, what am I doing? Who am I? I didn't know. And the escape really come when I was 21, and I got the opportunity through a friend to leave Germany and move to UK. I had a new job. It was a sales job, basically in a call center. It was a new country, new language. Of course, I had a little bit of English skills, but it was still something new with Brits to talk to and being fluent and doing business. And that was, uncomfortable, but I know that the uncomfort is where the growth happens. So I'm very glad I did take that opportunity and didn't shy away from it. And I was like this out of Germany in like 60 days. I was like, and the great thing was as well, I had no old audience. There were no people who expected anything how I should be, you know. But so I could be basically on a new clean sheet and could develop myself with no expectation, because everybody who I met completely new, and we all come from different countries, so it was a different new playing field. But the flaws and the fears, they came with me. That was something I still need to work on. And also, new environment, new country, new people, they would sometimes also reflect that on me, right? I always think the people around you are also a reflection on who you are. So it showed up in workplaces, in new. You don't just leave fear behind just by changing your postcode. So I really learned that, and it took me years to actually understand. In the middle of it, I was still like, oh, am I wrong? I was doubting myself, but I was always trying to do shit. I always knew I'm here for greater things, and always trying to do shit, even though didn't succeed in all of them, but they made for me and find out who I am, what I'm good at. So I'm always trying to say to you guys, try things out, don't shy away, do, and then find out what is sticking with you. Don't be scared of failure. Failure is another thing. That is what other people think about you. You don't want to do things because you don't want to seen as a failure in front of other people. Don't care about this. Do your thing, find yourself, because that is the most valuable thing for the rest of your life and your family you're going to create. If you haven't found yourself and you're suddenly get children and you're getting old and older, what happens? You're creating a life which is not what you want, and you don't create an environment to even start a family. So the best thing is really to go out there, and for me it was traveling the world because it gave a lot of experience to myself, a lot of perspective from many people. So the UK was the first step for me. I lived there for 5 years, and you know, your reality, your current reality is really the people around you, and they reflect you, who you are, how they act around you, how they open up to you, how they talk to you. That's all feedback who you are to them right now. So always, what helped me was always to be an observer. Observe what's going on around you. Observe your actions. Reflect on your actions. Don't think you're always right. See as, okay, I could be wrong, or see it as, how could they perceived it? How did I make them feel? Sometimes you don't know how you made them feel by saying things or acting certain ways, and that could completely be like, doesn't need to link to your action, but their previous experiences. That is maybe a reminder to them, which maybe harms or hurts them, and that's why you get certain feedback. And sometimes it's not always visible in a moment. Mostly you see it like years later, months later, looking back. So always reflect on your previous months or years, weeks. It's so much where you can learn from. But after UK, I went then end 2024. I left the UK and moved to Thailand. And then I was surrounded by entrepreneurs, travelers, people building something for themselves. And I got reflected again, differently this time, right? And I gained so many perspectives from leaving Europe, from people who also from Europe or from the Western or also from Asian countries who are doing things, who are thinking different way. And that is really where you find a lot of great people, man. Like being successful people around them and seeing how they operate. And you know, sometimes they're not even super special to you, right? They're not super, you think, or they're like crazy uh, in this. But they have a passion, they have something they're good at, but same as you, right? Same as you. There's not nothing, no difference in there, right? So I recognize always when I've seen multi-millionaires and whatever status they had, not super impressed, not always super impressed. There is some inspiration, but I was thinking always like they must be so different to me. And I was thinking, well, they do this, but I feel like I'm 100% able to do that too. So I'm just telling you, I've been around a lot of successful people who have a lot of money, and they're not so super special. Not always. So I'm saying it's always there to gain for you. Everything is up to you, what you want to do. You put in the action, whatever it is, just put in action, learn. Inaction is the first thing you do to fail and anything. You put in action, even though you fail, you might learn a lot. And then you find out about yourself. These two things, skills and character and personality, is what you need to build something really great. And now it's 2026. I arrived here in Bali 4 weeks ago. 7 years since I left Germany, and the growth in that time is invaluable. In the last 7 years, I overcame so many fears, so many doubts, so much scarcity around who I am, who I was. I've become such a great person, I believe, in myself. And looking back to it, I'm just comparing myself, to my younger self. I'm very proud of myself. And, I'm telling you the story not to show off or flex. I have nothing to show you. I don't show you whatever, my belongings. I'm just telling you a story which could be resonating, and I hope it resonates with you, that I come from nothing. I come from government support. I'm a dropout. But by doing things and taking the opportunity and taking risk, I come here where I am, and I live my life how I want. And that's the most important skill. Not skill. That is the most important thing in my life. That I have the freedom do whatever I want, who I want, when I want. And that is, I think, what everybody's striving for to make money, right? We all want the freedom, but the freedom comes from within. I'm turning 28 in 2 weeks. People where I grew up, from where I grew up, aren't doing what I'm doing right now. I still got so much left to build. I know that, but I'm already winning. Just by being here doing this, I find myself a little more every day, and I'm becoming truly the person who can actually hold what he's building. That is the most important thing. Jim Rohn is, one of my spiritual mentors, I would say, business mentors. He would always say, set a goal to become a millionaire, but not for the money, for who you're going to become as a person. You want to be, you want to have the money, but you have to become the person. And the person is much more valuable because you learn so many skills, so many connections, you create businesses, you have so many opportunities, you went and failed and succeeded. And all of that makes you, that is the real prize. The money doesn't matter because even if you lose the money, you know how to make the money. Money is just energy coming and going. And I hope, you know, there's one thing to take from all of this is break free from where you grown up. That I think is you should always do and find out, even for a while, what is on the other end of the world. What can you experience? What perspective can you gain? And then stay there for a while and be with yourself and then see what's left. And what's left standing is the real you. That's the real you, not what other people expect, not what the job expect from you, not what the friend or relationship expect from you. It's just you. That's what you need to find out. Needs to craft out of all these social constructs to come back to your source. Come back to yourself through traveling, through being alone, through meditation, breath work, whatever gets you there. Try out a lot of things. Challenge yourself in uncomfortable environments. That's why actually you learn who you are. And the sooner you do this, especially in your teens and your 20s, the sooner you get to design your life. Life design. That is something I really want to give you with. Design your life by becoming the person who you want to become. How do you become the person who you want to become? To try shit out, travel, be open minded, communicate, be with yourself, listen to yourself, reflect on yourself, find out who you are, put yourself in many, many, many uncomfortable positions to find who you are, man. That should be the takeaway here. Don't be scared of life. Make life yours. Be the main character. I hope somebody finds that today. I hope somebody takes action on that because I'm 20-year old now and I feel like I should have done it way earlier. I'm happy that I did the switch early as well. I don't feel like I'm missing out. I don't feel like I'm behind, but there's so many young people right now having access to so many good information so they can turn their life like this with 16, 15, 18, 17, whatever, teenies, even if you're in your 20s, even if you're in your 30s, whatever age, as sooner as better. Because time is something nobody gets back, right? So take action today, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. I love you guys. Take care. Peace.